Welcome to the Registered Investment Advisor Podcast, where financial services marketing expert Seth Greene interviews experts, executives, and top producers to share can't-miss tips on how they successfully manage their financial service firms, grow their businesses, create great relationships, and influence the industry. And now, here's your host, Seth Greene.
Welcome to the RAA podcast. This is your host, Seth Greene. Today, I've got the good fortune to be joined by Dana Samuelson of the American Gold Exchange, your reliable hard asset advisor. Dana, thanks so much for joining us.
Hi, Seth. It's great to be here with you. Thanks for having me.
Our pleasure. So let's go back in time just a little bit. How did you get started in the business in the first place?
Oh my, I got out of college in 1980 with a German degree, which was like anybody getting out of college in 2009 with any degree. The economy back then was completely hamstrung by extremely high inflation and interest rates, and the economy was in the tank. And I ended up getting a job working in a precious metals vault because I could be trusted. I spent 2 years counting, shipping, and weighing coins and bars. It's like working in a restaurant at the kitchen sink.
Oh, okay.
Start there. And then I got my lucky break. I got offered a job by Jim Blanchard, who was the man
Wow. Yeah.
responsible for the private re-legalization of gold ownership in the United States in 1974. Jim was the man that got that to happen. So U.S. citizens could own gold again, which had been illegal since 1933. And my job at Blanchard and Company was to be a trained numismatist, which was a man who could appraise vintage coins. So I learned to appraise old gold and silver coins the U.S. made prior to World War II. I ended up moving up to their trading desk, where I bought and sold commodity gold coins and bars in volume with the industry. And that's really where I got my lucky break. I got to meet all the big industry players in the mid-'80s. And friends of mine who I worked with back then run U.S. Mint distributorships today. So I've got just 43 years in the business. It's all I know how to do. I've painted myself right into a golden corner, as I like to say.
That is an absolutely incredible journey. And I'm sure the longer version could be in a book somewhere if it isn't already. How did you go from that to American Gold Exchange?
I always wanted to be my own boss, and I ended up moving to Austin, Texas in 1995. I started the company with a friend of mine, and that partnership didn't work out. And I finally just said, I've got enough experience to make a go of it on my own. And that's what I did. I started American Gold Exchange in 1998. And my lucky break then was that my friends from back in the day in the 80s, knew I was starting my own company, and they gave me more credit in the beginning of my career at American Gold Exchange than I deserved. And they helped me to finance my business in the beginning, because it takes a lot of cash to run a precious metals business, to hold an inventory, to write good checks when people sell you large volumes of precious metals. And I've just built a really good, solid business over the last 25 years. We have a perfect business record. I've also became a member of the Professional Numismatists Guild, which is the leading organization of rare coin dealers in the country. And I was their president for 2 years in 2016 and 2017. I helped to establish the industry anti-counterfeiting task force, which today works with Homeland Security and Secret Service to combat and interdict shipments of fraudulent precious metals items coming in to the marketplace from China. Now, most people won't run into that unless they go to a pawn shop to buy precious metals, or they buy from private sellers on Craigslist, or some of the online auction platforms have some of this stuff on it. So you have to be a little careful. But if you deal with a reputable dealer, this is a problem you won't run into.
Absolutely. So again, incredible journey. Let's talk a little bit about what American Gold Exchange does.
We're a national mail order, physical, precious metals and vintage U.S. gold and silver coin dealership. We make a market buying and selling modern minted gold and silver bullion coins and bars made by sovereign mints and private refineries, very competitively priced. We deal in mainstream, widely traded items that are liquid anywhere. So if you do business with us and you want to sell somewhere else, what the product that we trade in is easy to sell anywhere. We don't have 2,000 SKUs on our website. We have about 200. And it's only, if you're interested in precious metals, it's the equivalent of vanilla, chocolate, and strawberry if it was ice cream. It's as simple as that. So we make a very competitive market. We're also making a competitive market in vintage classic U.S. gold coins, primarily the $10 and $20 gold coins that were made as currency back in the 1850s to the 1930s, that survive today in various degrees of either slightly circulated condition or uncirculated condition. So we're experts in vintage U.S. gold coins as well.
Awesome. And then who's an ideal client or customer for you?
C-suite executives, private business owners, people that have a little bit of financial wherewithal, accredited investors who want to get some of their money out of the banking system off to the side, who don't particularly trust our own government to manage its finances well, which is obviously an increasing market sector if we could tap into it. But precious metals ownership in this country is small compared to other countries like China, India, Japan. We've never had our currency fail. We've never had a war on our shores. So if you've had that happen, and most of the rest of the world has, precious metals are a way to insulate yourself from some of the problems that you get with when a currency fails or if there's conflict. What an interesting aside is my brother got me into this business. That's how I got my connection with my first job in that vault. And his first job in the business in 1974 was going to a Vietnamese relocation camp in Arkansas, where people fleeing the Vietnam War, Vietnamese citizens and moving to the United States, carried gold sewn inside their clothes. That's literally how they carried their wealth out of the country. So if I'm trying to help educate people in the United States why gold ownership, a small percentage of your assets, is important, how it helps to insulate you from financial crisis, from inflation. We're going through an inflationary period right now, of course, and gold tends to do well during these times.
Absolutely. What are some common misconceptions about what you do? What do the investors think that's wrong?
We don't have a financial education that teaches anything about hard assets in this country. Our educational system focuses on stocks and bonds, and we don't really teach about how the dollar's related to the international currency system. So there's not a background that we get fundamentally that teaches people why precious metals are important to have. And I think that is probably the biggest problem that we have for young people. A lot of young people, they want to get into Bitcoin because it works easily on their phone, right? People under 40 primarily, but they've had a big comeuppance in the last 2 years with Bitcoin going from 10,000 to 60,000 back down to 17,000. Now it's back up to 50,000. It's a wild ride if you're into cryptocurrencies. And ironically, when Bitcoin took a big tumble, a big correction, a lot of those people that never would have looked at precious metals started to, once they realized that, hey, there's something that's Bitcoin that's much more stable, which actually gold and silver are. So that's where I see the misconception with precious metals is just a lack of understanding of why having a little bit is a good thing.
And then I think I'm probably going to start you off on a rant here, but why buy from you guys as opposed to those late night infomercials or commercials that you see all over the airwaves whenever there's economic uncertainty?
I mentioned the Professional Numismatists Guild earlier. There's about 400 active members who are really the market makers around the country for physical precious metals. We are the inside trade, basically. When you deal with brokers or opportunists, which we have in our business because we are unregulated, anybody can be a precious metals dealer. You may pay too much, which typically is what happens with a lot of that TV advertising. That TV time costs money. And how do they get that advertising money back? By charging clients higher prices. So if you're interested in a company that has a celebrity spokesperson that you see on television, usually an aging actor whose career is waning, that's really not the company you want to do business with. That's a secondary or a third level market maker. Another thing that I've done in my career in the last couple of years is I've helped the Commodities Futures Trading Commission as an expert witness against a company that was very aggressive in pricing, very aggressive. Now, the case is still pending. It's alleged that they have been a bad actor, but you don't want to get involved with a company like that will take advantage of your lack of understanding of the precious metals and sell you something for much more than you should ever pay for an ounce of gold or an ounce of silver. So that's really another way that I've tried to give back after 40 years plus in the business. And our biggest problem in our industry is that we get good people interested in buying precious metals. They get started with the wrong company. They pay too much, they become abused, and then they never trust anyone in our sector again. And that's another reason why I'm trying to help the CFTC in taking care of bad actors is that, hey, this is our business. This is how we make our livelihood. So if you stick with a dealer that's been in business for a long time, and they're around, you can find them easily. If you just do a little searching on the internet's level the playing field, do a little competitive shopping, call and talk to people and just see who treats you well, who really wants your business. If you give your name and number to someone and they call you every day and want to be your best friend, they're going to try and reach into your back pocket. And we don't do that. We try and help people with what they're trying to accomplish. Our best asset is our clients. If we take good care of our clients, they'll come back and do more business with us, and maybe we'll get a referral as well. And that's really how we've grown our businesses organically, by just taking good care of people and being recommended by influential newsletter writers and podcasters like yourself who understand that, hey, this is the real deal here. So that's really what we're trying to do.
Absolutely. And then how do you work with financial advisors and financial professionals in terms of helping them help their clients?
We will answer any questions they have. We will look at the 4 different precious metals that we deal in, primarily gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. Most of our business is in gold and silver. Sometimes one is better than the other. We'll try and determine what's the best product for you. There are certain tax implications that some items have that others don't have regarding government reporting. And it's just a quirk in the U.S. law, but we'll help anyone, whether it's an individual that wants to spend $100 or someone who wants to spend $1 million, or a financial advisor who's got hundreds of clients, figure their way through what's the easiest way to do business, the best products to buy, the most competitive pricing, and also market timing. We can try and help people with market timing as well within our abilities. We're not the great seers of what's going to happen next. No one is, of course, but we try and help put things into perspective relative to what's happening in the world today.
Awesome. That makes a lot of sense. For our folks who are watching and listening, where is the best place for them to go learn more about American Gold Exchange and Dana Samuelson?
Our website is amergold.com, wamergold.com. We have live, online, transparent pricing for the items that we feature. We deal in a lot of other items that are not on our website simply because we want to keep it simple online. You can also call us 800-613-9323. We've got 4 hand-picked, very experienced account managers. We're consultative in nature. We'll help people with any questions they have and get you to feel comfortable with what you might be trying to accomplish in the precious metal sector. Or if you just want to get on our email list and get our specials or get our market information, which we put out about 2 or 3 emails a month. We're not spammers. It's info, INFO, at amergold.com.
Awesome. We greatly appreciate you spending some time with us. We know it's incredibly valuable. Dana, thanks again for being on the show.
Seth, thank you for having me. We'll help anyone any way we can, and appreciate your time today.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for watching or listening. We'll talk to you or see you next time.
49 faces looked to him in triumph. Over the last 12 months, they had each taken turns and promoted his business for a week at a time, driving over $987,342 in revenue. What if you had a network of 50 centers of influence who promoted your business every week for a year? Grab your copy of the #1 Amazon best-selling book, The Ultimate Guide to Growing Your Business with a Podcast, at 33% off the Amazon price by going to ultimatepodcastbook.com. Again, that website for 33% off the Amazon price is ultimatepodcastbook.com.